All right, let me sit like a lady. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very excited to be back in my country. Oh my god, my neck. I'm very excited to be back. Basically, I'm not even in my home gym. I'm in the gym a branch of my home gym. So it's amazing anyways to be back. My gym is usually empty, but when I travel to other gyms, it's usually full of people, which is also exciting. But here I feel more free to talk. It's a little bit of a shy phase before I jump into the energy of it. Anyways, today we are gonna learn a little bit theoretical things, but also practical things. But anyways, I posted a video talking about bilateral and unilateral exercises where someone commented and asked what's the difference between bilateral and unilateral exercises. So when it comes to bilateral exercises, before we jump into it, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and also click the notification bell button down below to be the first person to be notified when I upload new videos. When it comes to bilateral exercises, they're exercises that include two limbs working at the same time. So that means when I say limbs, meaning two body parts working at the same time, it could be the lower limb, meaning the legs, both right and left, and the upper limbs, meaning the arms, shoulders, arms, whatever, biceps, triceps, both left and right working at the same time. Let me break it down. I would take both at the same time, but let's first concentrate on the bilateral exercises. So bilateral exercises are exercises that you literally have to consider if you have access to the gym. Most of these exercises require lifting heavy, they require having heavier weights, and they require a gym. So they can be performed at home if you have a home gym, a basic home gym with loads of weights, heavier weights, but they're basically mostly gym exercises. So these require, as said, both muscle groups. These could be exercises such as sumo squats, deadlifts, barbell squats, dumbbell presses, lateral raises. A lot of these exercises fall into bilateral movements. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into it, but before we jump into the deeper version of it, let's talk about the unilateral exercises. When we talk about the unilateral exercises, we are basically talking about one limb. So that means the one upper limb is working, probably our left limb or the right limb on its own. And these are exercises that could be performed at home. These are exercises that could be performed while traveling, in hotels, in small equipped gyms or whatever. So they are very effective. The functions of this, the functions of the unilateral exercises could be timeless. It means that you could just plan your workout just using the unilateral movements for just 45 minutes or less. This could be performed at home. This could be performed outdoors. They can be performed without weights. Both bilateral and unilateral can be performed without weights, don't get me wrong, but you want to train effectively and smart. So if you want to focus on just being active and just being overall active, you want to focus, you could do the unilateral exercises, that's fine. But if you want to build muscle and actually build your strength, you want to focus also on the bilateral exercises. So with that being said, so both of these exercises differ a lot from each other, but could be also seen similarly the same. You can perform a sumo squat, okay, yes. You could perform a deadlift both in a unilateral movement but also in a bilateral movement. So most of these could be performed both ways. The aspects considered when we are working on these exercises are load distribution, and I'm gonna break this into at the same time because of time. So when we talk of load distribution, when we are working on the bilateral exercises, we are considering that loads of weight is being balanced on both sides, meaning that the weight that you're carrying is both distributed on the left and on the right, and also that also brings a disadvantage. If performed wrongly, it could happen that a lot of weight is sitting on the other side down, so that's what they call the mask the mass imbalances. So that's where the unilateral exercises come in. So when we're working with the unilateral exercises, we are focusing on one muscle group, and it does correct those imbalances. Load distribution on unilateral exercises focuses on one limb and also having lighter weight. You can carry as heavy as you want on the bilateral exercises, but you probably can't go as heavier on the unilateral exercises. Another aspect is strength gains. With the bilateral exercises, you're gonna lift heavy. Every time you lift, you're gonna be required to perform more, perform heavier, hit your PRs. Yo, my English is so terrible, but anyways, you're gonna be required to hit your PRs. You've gotta be forced to, increase your weight per week, per day, per month. Whereas when it comes to the unilateral exercises, we are addressing weakness in particular muscles. So that means that in case you have imbalance in the left leg, you might want to focus on working unilateral exercises to treat that side of the muscle that is weak. Another aspect is muscle engagement. When it comes to the bilateral exercises, we are engaging in multiple muscle groups. That means, for example, let's take deadlift. When we're doing a deadlift, you're gonna be required to use your back, you're gonna be required to engage your core, target them glutes, target them quads. You're also a little bit gonna target your hip thrust. No, you're gonna be targeting your hamstrings. So those are several muscle groups in one exercise, and that's why most bilateral exercises are compound movements. Whereas with the unilateral exercises, you're gonna be emphasizing stabilization in muscles. So basically, you're just stabilizing muscles to be balanced, to be able to lift heavier as the other side, whatnot. Another aspect in these two muscle movements is the core activation. So you're going to be required to activate your muscles all the way through. This is something that I always say in my videos. Always activate your core while working on any kind of exercise that you are working on. But you're going to lose less energy in activating your core when you're working on the bilateral exercises, whereas when you're working on the unilateral exercises, you're gonna be forced to engage your core just to incorporate this imbalance. Let's take for instance split squats. If you're working on your split squats when you're working on your split squats, if you don't engage your core, you're probably gonna lose the balance and you're probably gonna perform the exercise wrong. So it's gonna require you to engage your core, to activate your core a little bit more tensely than when you're working on the bilateral exercises. And another aspect is balance and stability. When you're working on the bilateral exercises, you're probably not going to need a lot of core activation or balance or stability because the weight is balancing out each side at the same time. Whereas with the unilateral exercises, you are going to be working on the balance and combination. So that means this we have talked about in the core activation, you're going to need to learn how to balance. I can see so many people struggle with the split squats, or let's say we are into the yoga poses that require working a lot of unilateral exercises. People struggle a lot, so that's where the unilateral exercises are really good to be performed because you're building the strength in both in different muscle groups and to be able to function when we are performing other type of exercises. Another aspect on the other side, we are talking of muscle imbalances. So let's say for instance you are working with bilateral exercises alone, they could cause a lot of injury or muscle imbalances because sometimes the other side is more stronger than the other side, or the other side is weaker than the other side. So that's why it's important to also include unilateral exercises because they identify and also correct muscle imbalance. Let's take for example me. When I'm doing the split squats, I know that my right leg is weaker than my left leg. So it requires me to include a lot of unilateral exercises while working on my lower body so that I can balance out both muscle groups or both sides. So when we talk about bilateral exercises, we are talking overall strength, and we've been talking about this a lot: overall strength, body strength, whatever. So you're building strength. Whereas unilateral exercises are excellent in functional and real life movements. Let's say, for example, carrying a baby. If you've, for instance, seen mothers carrying a baby on this side, actually I've done it as well, and you get tired on this side and you want to carry it on. Sometimes this side is a little bit weaker than the other. So when you're working in the unilateral exercise, let's say in shoulder lifting or shoulder presses or bicep curls, you got to balance both arms so that you can both lift on heavy, you can lift heavy on this side and also on the other side. So that's functional. Let's say, for example, taking stairs so that one leg doesn't feel like it's weak on the other. Running, sometimes the other leg is gonna get tired. That is something that I experience actually when I'm running. This leg feels a lot heavier, and fatigued is much quicker than the left leg. Meanwhile, I just thought about my nails. I was trying out which nail polish I'm gonna have for the wedding that I'm going to today, and I was trying red, so I tried out on those two. Never mind. So it's good to focus on creating overload over time. Don't quickly jump into the gym and lift heavy. You might injure yourself. They're low risk, but also requires careful form, because you have to work on your balance, you have to work on which muscle group you're working on. Most times when you're performing the unilateral exercises, you might end up targeting the wrong muscle group than the one that you're supposed to be working on. Let's take, for instance, split squats as well. I don't know why I refer so much to split squats. Split squats are those two exercises that could target both the glutes and the quads. So sometimes you have to know exactly what you're working on or what you're targeting at that particular moment or that particular time you're working out, so that you don't perform the wrong form while working out. Exercise efficiency. Let's talk about exercise efficiency. When it comes to the bilateral exercises, you are saving a lot of time. You are saving a lot of time and also more efficient. Whereas unilateral exercises may require you to have more time on your hands because you have to perform more reps on each side. Let's say, for example, you're doing a dumbbell press. You might need to do 12 on this side and 12 on the other side. Whereas when you are performing the unilateral exercise, when you're performing the bilateral exercises, you're pressing 12 at the same time, so you're done. So that's the efficiency of time. But at the same time, bilateral exercises could also take a lot of time. Let's take, for example, if you're going to do hip thrusts, it takes time to load on the weight, and also takes time to offload the weight. It takes time to load for the squats. It takes time to put on the weight to also offload the weight. So that is, I don't know about the efficiency, but yeah, you could, it's up to you how you think about it or how you work out. With that being said, guys, thank you for watching this video, and I hope this was very informative, and also you also consider combining both unilateral and bilateral exercise. I hope it does help. Thank you for watching, and also do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button down below to be the first person to be notified when I upload new videos. So see you on Monday. I don't think tomorrow I'm gonna work out, but see you on Monday. Bye.